other system is that you're using, you're going to use this webhook and say, send my data here. Okay. So you can copy this address, click save, and I'm going to hit save. And now I'll show you what this looks like. I have something set up here so that I can go ahead and send this across and do a test and see if that hit. So now what happened is I just sent data across pretending that I was using my CRM. And so when I run this, it's going to populate information. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. I keep zoomed out. So what happened now is it sent data across and it gave me what are called ordered pairs. So my first name is John, my last name is Doe, here's my email, here's my phone. So as you can see here, it gives you exactly what the data is. And remember I said in the mail hook, you would have to extract the data. So with the webhook, you get this information sent straight across. You can then do whatever you want with it. I'm just going to go ahead and use a set variable, but let's pretend this was feeding this over to a Google Sheet, sending it over to your Slack account, whatever it may be. When you click inside of here, you have the option to choose your webhook data that's coming across and feed that into whatever the system is that you're working with. Okay. If you ever change the format of the data, for example, maybe you're working with Gravity forms and you've added a couple fields to the Gravity form that you want to have captured here. If you click here, you can click redetermine data structure and then send data across again. And then it will go ahead and remap that data so that now maybe you wanted to add, something else to that list. It would then remap that data, and now all of that data would show up in your available listing. So I'm going to say redetermine data structure, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to add one more thing. I'm going to say that I wanted to go with, I'll just make something up, test. This is data. Okay. And then I will send that across. And now it successfully determined the new data structure. And so now whenever I save this and I go into my area, you're going to see now I have this extra field that's been added in here that I can then map into whatever I want to going forward. We talked about how to map data before. I'm going to go ahead and not go deep into that. Mailhook is set up just about the same way. You're going to go in here and we're going to delete that. We're going to go ahead and click on this. We're going to click webhook and click mailhook. And when you create this, same thing. You want to go in and do test mailhook. And then when you do that, you're going to get an email address. And so the same thing is going to happen, right? Whenever I go in here, I'm going to copy that email. And now what I want to do is wherever I want the data to come from, I want to send that email to this email address. And then this will capture and read all of that data. And then I'm going to go ahead and do whatever else I want to. I use this a lot we have lead sources that we work with. We are partners with Make. We're partners with other, Keep, I mentioned that, other pieces of software where they send us leads, or we end up communicating with people through their community boards and things like that. So I want to go ahead and I get an email from somebody that has their signature with all their information. I don't want to copy and paste that information into the CRM. So I have a mail hook set up where I just forward that into the mail hook. And then I have an AI step behind it that will read the information from the email and then go ahead and add it into my CRM. So these are the two ways that you can get data immediately into a system without having to go grab the data. It works as an immediate trigger. Inside that document that I gave you links for the Make community. I've given you links for the Make Academy, for how to work with webhooks, their help section on webhooks and for mailhooks. And then I showed you here some of the information for how you can work on running a demo of that information. Usually inside your software, inside the integration, if they have any integrations whatsoever, usually the webhook is the first type of integration they'll have available for you. So you can go in there and set the webhook and it will say, when do you want this to trigger? And you'll set that, and then it will come over here and trigger into your Make scenario. One thing that we have learned, this is a live and learn. As you go through and you start working with a lot of different webhooks, you are going to get data coming in and going out to all different sorts of areas. Okay, so like we have inside of our Keep accounts, we have, you know, maybe 30 or 40 different automations in there. Maybe 15 of them have outbound webhooks over into Make to do various things. As you start working on auditing your automations, you need to know, like, where is this data coming from? Where is this data going? So one of the things we recommend when you're setting up your HTTP post, which is where you're basically going to be able to send data to a webhook, it's going to open up here. And again, if you're working with a webhook, you would use that webhook URL and you'd paste that URL here. You would say that you're going to post data. And then inside of your information that you're sending over to the webhook, which is kind of what I have in here, one of the things we always recommend putting in here is a sent from and a sent to ordered pair. So for example, we will work inside of our Keep automation. We will say sent from, and we will copy the URL of the automation we're working in and put it into that outbound data. And we'll also put into that step where it is sent to. And when we do that, we put the URL of our Make scenario as to where we're sending it. That way, when we're doing an audit of going from automation, and sometimes you're setting up multiple automations that are daisy chained in Make, you'll be able to see, okay, this is being sent over here. And then when you're inside of your automation, you can see, oh, this data came in from this location. So that you're not just getting data from some random location and having to try to remember or figure out or have some other documentation as to where that data is coming from. Every single time the data hits that webhook, you're going to know exactly where that data came from. So the sent to and the sent from is I'll say a hard lesson learned that will save you a lot of time whenever you're working on things like that. And then finally, with the webhook, one of the things you can very easily do in here is if you have a custom webhook here is you can set up, let's say, for example, you are going to run, like we use Gravity Forms a lot and we use the Gravity Forms webhook, but we might have 3 different Gravity Forms that all feed into the same webhook. And then all we do inside of here is we're going to set up filters. And we're going to say that, you know, if the first name equals something, or in most cases, we'll use like an event type. For example, we set up one yesterday where we were working with a new piece of software and they had 4 different event types. They had a person started taking a quiz, they entered their data, they finished taking the quiz, and they updated their information. So in those cases, there's an event type that comes across. So all you do is say if the event type equals, you know, started quiz, then you're going to go up and run whatever you want to do up in this arm of your automation. And then here you would put in the filter that says if the event type is finish the quiz, then you'll finish and do whatever you want to have happen here. So that way you can use the same webhook to handle multiple things coming from the same location. And all you do is set up your router so that you can easily route the data to the right location as it comes in the door. That's really what I wanted to cover as far as the webhooks. Again, there are lots of links here for overviews on Mailhooks and how to parse emails. I do have a demo that I've done, and there is a YouTube video as well. If you search using AI for lead generation or lead parsing, I believe it is, was a webinar that I had done with Make. And there's information there on how you can set up the AI step behind your Mailhook so that you can parse the data and then feed it over into a CRM. Michael, anything I missed there that you think is important that we covered, or think I covered most of it?
No, I think you got it.
Cool. Sounds good. So Karen, do you have any questions about this, or do you have other questions about, oh, I see that you posted that your Gmail accounts were suspended twice for hooking up. I had to get them reinstated. Outlook was fine, however. Yeah, so sometimes you hit SMTP limits if you're doing things that way. I'd have to know how you set up your Gmail accounts, but a lot of times a free Gmail account has certain limits that are imposed because they don't want people setting up Gmail accounts and then going out and using all kinds of blasting systems to do things. They have certain limits that are imposed there. If you have a workspace account, you get higher limits with what's going on. But typically, if you're doing any kind of broadcasting or anything, you should be using a broadcast system of some sort, or making sure you throttle your outbound messages. Any questions on this or anything else? Yep, go ahead, Michael.
I was just going to add, for Gmail, I just learned that the limit was, I think, 2,000 emails a day. We are trying to transition our campaigns from like automations using email to like a customer.io. But I think the limit for outbound is like 2,000. So if you do more than that, it'll break. And then the other learning, what was it? Email. Oh, sleep module. So I put in, and I don't know if you want to show this, but I put in a tiny module for it to sleep. So 3 seconds in between emailing people to not overwhelm the Gmail module as well.
Yeah, so you can set in this, the sleep module. This basically just says pause. Pause for 1 second up to 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. So you can pause between 1 second and 5 minutes inside of here. So that's one way to keep things throttled. The other thing is, typically with the Gmail account, if you're doing some sort of broadcast, workspace account, but I probably made a mistake. I was setting up the APIs. Okay. So yeah, so if you're doing a lot of sending through that, you could get hit with that. But yeah, so that's one of the major concerns with using the Gmail accounts.
What was the use case on setting up your email inside of Make, Karen?
Also, welcome, Crystal. We just covered webhooks. So if you have any questions about webhooks, we're happy to answer those. It will be recorded. I have that set up to send out afterwards if you want to just review it. And now we're in like the what questions do you have section. So if you have any questions, you can come off mute or put them in the chat.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. I will definitely look back at that recording for the webhooks. I do have a question about one of the automations I'm trying to do. I have a Calendly account. Okay. And one of the questions I have on there when people book particularly free calls with me is if they want to join my newsletter. And so right now I've been manually adding them if they select the bubble for like sign up now. I was doing some research. I realized that because Calendly, since I have multiple questions, is basically an array. And so initially I was trying to do like a set variable and then based on if it had that question and if they said sign up now, that it would do the action. So I have like the later part of like adding it to my email platform, and I was able to get it set up where I'm in Calendly and things. But I'm curious the best way to approach going through that array. So that way I can, because not all of the, I would like, if I have to do it another way, that's fine, but I would like it for it to be for any of my Calendly events. Because I use the same question, but I have a couple of Calendly events where I ask this question. And so I wanted to basically see if that question is there. And if so, if they select sign up, the answer sign up here, then I wanted to move forward. And so I was curious what would be the best way to go about doing that, basically getting that, seeing if it has a question and then seeing what that answer to that question is, so that way it can move forward.
Michael, do you want to go over that? Or do you want me to just do it inside of here as far, because it sounds to me, based on what was there, it sounds to me like you just need to set up a filter based on the event type that's coming through. So inside of here, when the very first thing you do as a filter is you can go into your Calendly account, and then you can go in and whatever you want you can capture here, and then what will happen is it'll come through with different event types, and then you can use a filter at the very beginning where maybe you'll take, take this and do a filter where maybe if they booked their appointment, then they go up this direction. And if they cancel their appointment, they go down here. Or if they came from one event type, they would go through one arm. And if they go through another event type, they would go through another arm. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's not. The event type itself is one of the questions that is asked
Okay.
when they fill it out. So I'm trying to, I keep getting a blank I was trying to do like a set variable. Because the questions, because for the event, I asked multiple questions and their questions is an array. So I'm trying to get that answer to that question. And right now, the way I'm doing it, it just keeps showing up as it's not setting anything as the variable. So I think I need to do, I need to go through the array somehow to be able to get the answer to that question, if that makes sense.
Yes. So what you're asking about, there's two ways to do it. One is use an iterator. You'll iterate through the array to find the question that you want, and you'll filter on that. You can do it that way, and then within your filter, it'll only let that one question through. So if it doesn't have that question, it's not going to let that whole event through.
Okay.
And if there are multiple questions, it's only going to let the question in the filter through. So you only have one item continuing.
So
The other way to do it is using get and map functions.
I think
those are a little more complex
to do it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Are we able to have Crystal share her screen and show us do we have that capability? If you're up for it, Crystal.
Yes, give me 1 second. Let me just get logged in.
I'll demonstrate while she's doing that, just so we're recording this, we can use this. So here, let's say, for example, we wanted to filter through all the event guests that are here. We would go through the event guests, and then as we would use the filter, we would grab the value from the iterator. So when they roll through here, maybe you want to say if the guest is like X, then we could put that as the condition. If the value equals something, or let's say we want to say anybody who comes from our own company we don't want to use or something, we could set up a value here that says if the attendee has, in our case, 4 spot in the email address, then don't let that person go through. We only want other people to go through the automation, something along those lines. So that's how you would do that. You'd map the array from your item, in this case Calendly, into the iterator, and then you get your iterator information here that you can then use as your filter. Okay, I'll stop sharing so that she can share her screen then.
Okay, so so I have it up. Let me are you all able to share my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was probably trying to approach it maybe too simple. So so essentially it was like, sorry, I got this in the way. So I have my Calendly set up, and then I don't know if this should be the next step or if I need a step in between, but then I wanted to get the variable, wanted to set the variable from the newsletter answer. And so I have the question that it asks, regardless of what Calendly event asks the same question. And so then I wanted to get that answer. When I was doing my test, it kept this variable was showing up blank. And so I'm curious, I would love to know like what that iteration, like if that's like a less complex way, like the iterate, like what that will look like to be able to do it that way. But yeah, basically how to actually get the answer from the multiple questions that I have, especially if it's like, and I don't know if there's a difference if, because it's not in the same position for each Calendly event. So that's why I was saying, like, I think you all mentioned filters. So I don't know if I need to first filter by each Calendly, like type of Calendly event, and then do this, or if there's a way that it can just search for this question, because the question is the same no matter the position, but the question is the same, and so that way I can get the answer that they give.
Gotcha. So we'll cover the get map second because it's a little more complex.
Okay.
But just based on what I'm seeing here, you don't have data mapped from the Calendly module. So right now you're just using plain text, and that's why it's appearing blank every time. But we'll go through that in a minute. So if you want to disconnect the set variable from the Calendly events and install an iterator, don't delete, just disconnect over the little pathway between
Yeah,
the
there you
two.
go.
Yep.
Okay.
And then click the plus sign. And then flow control. And then iterator. Yep. So the array we're looking for in this, go ahead and click into that. We're looking for, questions and answers. Go ahead and click the whole array
Hit the whole. Okay.
and click save.
Okay.
So what this will do now is take every single item or object inside that array and pass it to the next steps in the scenario. So let's go
Okay.
ahead and set, you can use a set variable module. We'll just do this for testing. I like to use the multiple variables. That way I can test multiple things.
Okay. Just multiple. Okay.
Yep. Go ahead and just add anything in there. We're not going to quite use this yet. And then on the pathway between the iterator and the set variable module, click into that, the little wrench. That's going to open up the filter. Correct, yes. And then on the condition, you're looking at, go ahead and click in there. You're looking at the question. So scroll up, the green text at the top.
Oh, here we go.
What that iterator is doing is it's splitting every one of your answers into an individual item that's going to go through that filter.
Okay.
Correct, yeah. So within it, if you had 10 questions, it would run 10 different items through this process. So the question you're looking for is that one that's going to be the same across all.
Yes. And actually, this is it right here that is kind of showing up.
Perfect. So
And
text would equal to, or if you wanted to contains, you can do that.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, you're looking for the text itself.
Yeah. Oh, I had it on. And
yeah, would you
So
like?
go ahead and reconnect that.
Yeah, it was.
And
Would
then
you
you can
like
open it
to?
again.
Was the? I would just use, unless you have multiple would you like tos. I always choose to use the least common denominator. So in that case, I would say, like, that question starts with case insensitive. Would you like to? That way, in case you forgot a comma in one of the scenarios, chances are it'll pull up would you like to.
I know. So if I do have sometimes something like, but newsletter is going to be like definitely. So can I have it where it's just, I guess, searching for newsletter? Because that's going to be definitely the common denominator.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
So how would I do this?
Click cancel on this.
Okay.
And then go back into the filter in between the iterator and the set variables. Next one. Yep. So you're looking for the question and then click on text operators equal to, and that's going to bring up a drop down. And in this case, you're looking for contains case insensitive.
Gotcha.
And then you can just type newsletter in there.
Okay.
Where you want to be careful with this is if another question contains the word newsletter, that one will also get through. So you want to make it loose enough that you can give yourself some leniency on standardizing the question, but strict enough that you don't let things through that aren't supposed to be let through.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, this will be the only instance of newsletter being part of it.
Okay, perfect. So let's disconnect the set variable from, and then let's reconnect the kit module to the set variable module. So you got to disconnect it from the set variable. Yeah, now connect it. So now we'll ignore the newsletter opt-in filter that you have right there. If you open up the kit module,
Okay.
All the mappings, I assume, should be the same.
Mhm.
The only item that's going to get through is if that question has a response of yes, or they've opted in.
Okay.
And that really comes in. So if we go into the filter between the set variables, the newsletter opt-in filter that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're looking at the answer from, so click the green answer button.
Okay.
Yep. So now when that answer is sign me up, it will get through.
There we go.
So now it's a two-step filter. One is you're looking at the question itself, and the next is you're looking at the answer.
Got it. And so should I get rid of the little quotes here?
Yep.
Okay. Because it's equal to, I'll do equal to case insensitive, just in case. Okay. It's a bubble, so I'll have to say this, but okay, awesome. This is way easier because when I was trying to go through the Git and I was selecting the question, and I think I was getting this was like I was testing around some other stuff on because I saw another like a template, and so I was testing around with the template, and I think that one was using kind of the Git, but this is a lot more like you said, a lot more simpler and easier for me to like understand.
Excellent. So like different ways to optimize this is sign me up is probably the only answer or only relevant to one question.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just use that as your filter.
Like so.
Now, if it's going to be the case
like
where like
answers.
there's a yes that you want to filter on, that
Mhm.
needs to be a question and answer filter.
So I would do that. So when I filter here, I would say answer. I could just say answer and then sign me up, and then it'll only see if even just one of the questions had that answer, and then it will go through.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then what
okay.
you can also do is go back into that filter you just had open.
Uh-huh.
We could say and add an and rule,
Uh-huh.
and then use answer in there.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have multiple conditions filtering against this question and answer.
Okay. So it'll have to have, oh, there we go. And then it'll have to have both of those. Perfect.
Correct. Yeah.
We use this a lot for whenever we're working with CRMs and we're applying tags. We'll run one main scenario that adds all the content to the CRM, you know, all the first name, last name, email, all of that. And then we'll go through and we'll have the conditionals that if they answered this, then tag them with this. If they answered that, then tag them with that. We'll have a couple different arms on our router that will then apply tags based on the actual answers they've given.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to show you a trick we learned, or something we learned the hard way. So connect the set variable to the kit again.
Okay.
And now what we want to do is we don't technically need this set variables module anymore, but you have filters on the front side and the back side.
Yeah.
So you're going to remove the filter on the back side of it.
This one.
The other side. Sorry. Reconnect them. Open up the filter on the right side.
Okay. Open it up. Okay.
Yep. And then just delete it. Click the X. Lower.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. Save. And now right click the set variable module and you can delete it. The set variable module, number 7.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Because there's no filter.
Nope. Yep, I was wrong.
Yeah.
It keeps the one on the back side.
Yeah. Yeah, the filters are assigned. The filters are actually assigned to the step behind it, is the way that Make is designed.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I know you know that, but whenever you're explaining it sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. This was really great. What would you say that the mapping like what instances would that be? Would that be better?
Yeah, so that's a good case where like you want to bring in multiple questions and answers. So for example, if you're only filtering on newsletter, but inside of your kit module, you want to bring in the answers that they responded to across all the questions. So you might have custom fields for that. It might be like time zone, it might be company name, stuff like that. That's where the map module comes in handy. And kind of the way it translates is, so let's actually do it. Let's open up that set variable module again that you had.
And I have an older one. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and connect automatically.
Okay.
Oh, it wasn't this one. You can delete that one.
Oh, we got rid of the other one, remember?
Oh, we did. Okay. Okay. So go ahead and open up and let's do that.
Okay.
So inside of the variable value,
Mm-hmm.
you can type map, open parentheses. And now this is going to say, what array are we working with? And in this case, it's going to be the question and answers array.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then use semicolon. And now it's asking, what value do we want? And the answer to that is go ahead and click that little arrow next to the questions and answers.
Mm-hmm.
We want the answer. So hover over answer, and you see there's answer uppercase and then a raw lowercase answer.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a readable version and then also a raw version of it. So you want the lowercase answer. So just type answer.
That's where I was getting confused of like, when do I click and when do I do the raw answer? I mean, the raw text. Okay.
So now use semicolon again.
Okay.
So I guess we'll stop here for a sec. If you only had answer and close the parentheses, it would be saying, from this question and answers array, I want all the answers. So it's going to rebuild an array with all of the answers. So the array itself is going to be made up of sign me up, yes, company name, whatever that is, etc. So it's just going to be a simple array of those values. But we want to essentially filter that array for this question. So you're going to say, I want the answer where question. So hover over question.
Okay.
And we want the raw value from that.
The raw value. Okay.
Yeah. So in the same way we got answer.
So this
lowercase question.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Semicolon. So now we're saying, I want the answer from this array where the question is blank. So in this case, it's a lot to type out, but it needs to match exactly.
Okay.
So would you like to join marketing, etc.? So it needs to be that exact text.
I would do it. Would I do it with? Does it need to have quotes or just? I would
not need to have quotes.
Okay, just exactly how. Okay, got it. So yeah, I'll just to join just to put. Okay. So and then I'll put the question that it is. Okay.
Yep, and then close parentheses.
Okay.
Okay. So with this map function that you're getting right now, it's going to produce an array, but you want the actual answer. So because there's only one question that's going to meet this criteria, you want the first. So if you go to the front of this, go in front of map.
Okay.
Type first. Open parentheses. And then put a close parentheses on the backside. Okay, so now it's pulling out the first position array where it meets this criteria. So translation in plain text, I want the first item from this array, or I want the first answer from this array where the question is, would you like to join?
Okay, so cool. Okay, yeah, I needed to have this part. So I guess I can find that in the training. I'm starting to go through the trainings, because like this part of like when, because I had did a version where I had select all like I had, did answer here, like I did that, and then that wasn't. So knowing when to actually select versus when I need to do the raw text
Yeah.
for mapping. Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Mm,
I don't know if there's a quick way to explain that.
yeah.
It depends on the function, honestly.
I will tell you that I build a lot of stuff in Make, and I try to stay away from this stuff just because, to me, honestly, it's confusing as well. So I just put filters in place, and usually when you're doing something at this level, it's because you're trying to make something really efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just let's get something that works. It's let's try to reduce the total number of actions that we're using, because we're going to have a bunch of nested things happening here.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, right now what I'm doing as far as I would say this is pretty simple, like with just one at once. So, but it makes sense that if you have a lot more, instead of doing multiple, you would do this to just be able to do that in one action and be able to, of course, like, be more cost effective.
yeah. So as you're learning, instead of using the watch events webhook, you can use a parse JSON module, and you can essentially rerun your test multiple times without having to re-trigger the event.
Oh, you said I would do, okay.
Yeah, so save the, go ahead and save the scenario.
Okay.
Click back or get to where you can access the history.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here.
And let's see, scroll down on the right side. Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Details.
For just any of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then click on that little one above the Calendly watch events.
Okay.
And then in the top right, there's that little download icon next to data size.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to download output bundles.
Okay.
And then copy and paste, or copy this.
Okay. Okay.
And then go back into your diagram.
Into this diagram here.
Yeah, the little next to history, there's diagram. And then you're going to find JSON. Click into the
inside the scenario.
I'm sorry, you said by
Click the background inside the scenario.
Oh, the background.
There you go.
Yep. And then on the little plus symbol
at the very bottom.
Okay.
Type JSON or JSON. Yep. And then you want the parse JSON module. So click into JSON.
Okay.
And then parse JSON.
Okay.
And then go ahead and connect it. Yep. And then open it and then paste in that JSON string. Save.
Okay.
And then if you set this as your trigger, you can use that to map and test multiple times what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, if you move that to the front of the scenario.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll make that your trigger.
Okay.
So to do that, disconnect it from on the front side, yep. And then move the little lightning bolt on top of the JSON. Perfect.
Okay.
And then if you click run once.
Run once.
Run anyway.
Okay.
So now you have that same data structure available. And you can, this is especially helpful for getting your map language right, especially if you're doing nested maps.
Because oh, this is so great. Okay. Make tests. Yeah. No. Okay. Awesome. Oh, this was so yeah, this was so great. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
I was looking at some videos and things I was getting. Yeah, I think definitely going the map route was kind of throwing me off until maybe I got deeper into like some of the trainings to yeah, because I tried a couple of different things and was on the forum. So I'm so glad y'all had this call so I could like kind of walk through it with you all.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll have them pretty consistently too, Crystal. So if you ever have any more technical questions, we'll run this forum a couple times a month probably. But thank you for that, because that was really helpful to have as a use case and to work through. Karen, I know that you were asking questions earlier about Gmail. Did you have any other questions? We've got a couple minutes left that we could either send some resources around or try to support before we let you all go.
So she's good.
Perfect. Then just as a reminder of the follow-up, I'll send the resources that I covered earlier, a recording of this session, and then update the invite list so that you guys get invited to the next advanced session if you have any additional questions. And then again, Jeff or Michael, if y'all want to add your email, it should be in the follow-up as well, but you're free to reach out to me for any startup specific related questions. And then if you want to book any one-off sessions with Jeff and Michael, they are great resources to continue the discussion we started today.
Yep. And I have a booking link in the back of that PDF that I put up there. So
perfect. Then yeah, thank you everybody for attending. Let us know if we can help in any other ways, and we hope to see you at another session.
all right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Thanks all.
Bye. Thank you.